You were called mature, responsible, easy to raise. Adults said it like a compliment, but no one asked why a child had to become so easy. And now, years later, you may be the adult everyone depends on. But rest feels wrong. Being cared for feels uncomfortable. And when someone asks what you need, your mind goes blank. Maybe you were the child who rarely complained. You waited quietly when the adults were busy. You dealt with problems alone and said, "It's okay," before anyone asked if it really was. You became the sensible one, the child who could handle it, the child nobody had to worry about. Some of that maturity may have come naturally. Children can be thoughtful and independent. But sometimes, a child seems mature because there is not much room for their fear, mess, anger, or uncertainty. They notice that being calm gets a better response. Helping eases the tension. Asking for less makes the day easier for everyone. You were not born old. You learned too early how to become easy for other people. And that child often grows into a remarkably capable adult, someone everyone can depend on, except, sometimes, themselves. Now you are the person people call when something goes wrong. You read the room before anyone says a word. When other people fall apart, you become calm. In a crisis, you know what to do. You make the call, find the answer, and keep things moving. A friend is struggling, and you are already listening, thinking, helping them work out what comes next. At work, you spot what everyone else missed and quietly take care of it. You fix things, you listen, you make the plan, you keep track of the details. And because you do it so well, people may assume it costs you nothing. Then, life gets quiet, and relaxing turns out to be much harder. You finally have a free afternoon, but your mind starts looking for something to manage. The laundry, the unanswered message, the person you should probably check on. You can hear the smallest change in someone's voice, yet miss your own exhaustion until you are running on empty. Then someone asks, "What do you need?" And your mind goes blank. Not because you have no needs, you have simply had much more practice noticing everyone else's. Being capable is not the same as feeling safe. Sometimes, competence is simply a strength, and sometimes, it is also a way of never being caught unprepared. To understand why that strength can become so heavy, imagine what the child was asked to wear. Imagine a child being handed an adult-sized coat. It is too heavy. The sleeves cover their hands. The hem drags across the floor. Even walking in it takes effort. But the adults smile because the child looks so mature. This coat is made of everything the child had to carry too soon: being responsible, staying careful, making themselves useful, keeping difficult feelings out of sight. It gives them a role. They become the helper, the peacemaker, the one who can cope. And with that role comes something important: approval, a sense of belonging, a feeling that they matter. When being useful brings warmth, usefulness starts to feel like the safest way to stay close to people. When needing less makes the day go more smoothly, hiding those needs starts to feel sensible. The child does not sit down and decide any of this. They just notice what works. Adults praise them for coping alone. Staying calm seems to prevent more trouble, so they keep wearing the coat. After a while, other people no longer see it as something the child is carrying. The child may stop seeing it too. What began as a role starts to feel like a personality. The coat helped you survive before it started to feel like your identity. And usually, a child takes on a role this heavy because something around them made it necessary. Maybe the adults in your life loved you. They may also have had very little left to give. They may have been overwhelmed, absent, unpredictable, angry, sick, or hard to reach emotionally. There may have been conflict, or maybe everyone was just trying to make it through the day. A child does not need to understand why. They only need to notice what the house feels like. They hear footsteps and try to guess which mood is coming down the hall. They look at an adult's face before deciding whether to ask for help. The room already feels full, so they keep their problem to themselves. This does not require a cruel parent. Adults can love a child and still be unable to offer enough steadiness, attention, or space for everything that child feels. The child cannot change the larger situation. What they can change is how much anyone has to deal with from them. So they become quiet, helpful, low maintenance. They watch people's moods. They try not to add pressure. They hold back what they need and wait for a better time. Maybe that time comes now and then. Maybe not often enough. These children are not without needs. They are trained to hide them. Some children are not calm because they feel safe. They are calm because chaos taught them to be careful. That carefulness may work in childhood, but over time, it adds up. The coat does not disappear when you grow up. It follows you into work, relationships, and ordinary quiet moments. Other people may call it strength. From the inside, it can feel like never being allowed to put anything down. The first cost is that rest feels wrong. You sit down, and your mind immediately starts listing unfinished tasks. You notice the dishes. You remember an email. Nothing is urgent, but resting still feels lazy, unsafe, or selfish. Some part of you still expects usefulness to secure your place. So doing nothing does not feel neutral. It feels as if you are ignoring a responsibility you cannot quite name. The second cost is that being cared for feels uncomfortable. Someone makes dinner for you, and you start wondering how to pay them back. Someone offers help, and "No, it's fine," comes out before you have even considered saying yes. You know your role when you are the one giving. Receiving is less familiar. Care feels warm for a moment. Then, strangely, it can feel awkward, exposing, almost like a debt. The third cost is that your own needs become hard to read. Other people's needs arrive loudly. Yours tend to show up late. Someone asks what you want, and you say, "Anything is fine." You may not notice you are overwhelmed until you are exhausted. You may not realize you want comfort until you are already alone. The needs did not disappear. Your attention just learned to face the other way. The fourth cost is feeling responsible for other people's emotions. A colleague speaks sharply, and you replay the conversation for hours. A friend pulls away, and your first thought is, "What did I do?" Someone dislikes a boundary you set, and their disappointment suddenly makes the boundary feel unfair. Silence becomes something to fill. Anger becomes something to settle. Distance becomes something you need to close. Sometimes you apologize before you even know whether you did anything wrong. That habit once helped you notice important shifts around you. Now, every change in someone's mood can feel like another job with your name on it. So you keep functioning while people need you. Then you get home, close the door, and feel completely drained. You learned how to be needed before you learned how to be known. And underneath that exhaustion, there is a quieter loss. The pain is not only that you carried too much. The deeper pain may be that people praised you for carrying it so well. They saw the calm child. They may not have seen what that calm was costing. The tired part wanted someone to notice and say, "You've done enough." The needy part wanted comfort without first doing something to earn it. The playful part wanted to be silly, loud, slow, or completely unproductive. And the overwhelmed part wanted to say, "I can't handle this." But maturity was the part everyone seemed to value, so the rest stayed out of sight. Even anger may have needed to sound reasonable before you could show it. You explained the other person's behavior. You thought about their stress. You understood everyone before anyone had to understand you. And the praise may have felt good. That is the strange part. It may have been one of the few times you felt clearly seen. Praise can feel warm, but it can also become a cage when a child is only praised for needing less. The point is not to reject the capable person you became. It is to let that person put the coat down. Taking off the coat does not mean becoming irresponsible. It means noticing when you are carrying something that was never yours. Caring does not have to mean carrying someone's whole emotional life. Helping does not have to turn you into the person who manages every feeling in the room. Someone can be disappointed, and you do not have to change your answer right away. Care can come toward you without becoming a debt, and rest does not have to wait until everyone else is okay. This may feel uncomfortable at first, not because it is wrong, because it is unfamiliar. The coat taught you that usefulness created safety. Without it, even for a moment, you may wonder who you are. You do not have to throw it away. Just begin to notice when the responsibility is truly yours, and when an old role has taken over. Wear the coat when the moment genuinely calls for your strength. Then, when the work is done, let yourself take it off. Responsibility is not self-erasure. Your competence is real, but you do not have to disappear inside it. Adulthood can become the place where you slowly take off the coat, not because your strength was false, because it should never have required you to vanish. You do not have to become a child again, but the child in you may finally be allowed to stop performing adulthood